Hello, my dirty girls. Welcome to Training Tuesday. We are back this Tuesday for another edition of Training Tuesday, Dirty Girls style. We're going to get in tonight to what I call the Dirty Girl 3-card draw. And these are the 3 cards that we can pull anytime and every time we feel like we are just not bringing our full A game to the table. We're not focused, or our energy's low, or we don't even remember why we're here, and we're hating our job, and we're working too many hours, and we're starting to hate our kids and our partners, right? When we get into that place where we're stressed, we're anxious, and we know we could be doing a little bit better. We know we can. We know we should. We know we want to. And yet, something, right? There's some sort of drag on us that's keeping us kind of held down, not fully living up to the A game. So that's what we're going to talk about tonight. And as always, I've got another screen over here so I can try to see your comments as we go. One day I would love to be way more suave at this, but for today, I have 2 screens. So as always, it's Christine. Christine, I love the fact that you're always here. Thank you for that. That's awesome. And yay, because Christine's in my neighborhood, I get to see her this weekend, so I'm actually very excited about that too. All right, if you're joining us live and you're not Christine, because I said hi to her, say hi in the chat, let us know where you're from. And as always, as I'm going through the explanation and the discussion around the topic of the week, love for you to drop in your questions, your comments, share your story. As much as we can make this a dialogue, the more fun it is for all of us. I have the capacity to talk at you all day long, but you don't necessarily need that. Part of the fun of this community is being able to also talk to each other. And yay, it's Rose and Jordana. Hey to both of you. Thanks for joining tonight. Okay, so I want to talk about the A game because we know how that feels. And I think a lot of us think that we don't feel it often enough in our jobs and just in our daily lives, even because we bring our A game to anything and everything, right? We're talking specifically about how we bring it to our jobs, but it can also be how we show up with our kids and how we show up with our parents and how we show up cleaning the house or raking leaves. We can bring it to anything because the A game is a feeling, it's an energy, it's an attitude, it's a here's how I show up for life. And it's a willingness to step up, step in, and bring it all and accept it all for what it is. When we're playing our A game, we are not overly worried or overly anxious about what's going to go sideways. We're not trying to pre-plan how we're going to fix events that may or may not happen, but in our head, right, we're playing them out and we're trying to figure out how we have defensive maneuvers. We're not wasting energy on that because we're coming forward with the confidence that whatever gets thrown at us, we're going to figure it out. We're going to be able to roll with it, move with it, deflect, whatever it is. Okay, so for those of you joining us who do not know me, my name is Natalie Hahn. I am CEO of Dirty Girls Consulting. I am thrilled to have you here in our group tonight, Accelerating Leadership for Professional Women. And we are here to talk each week about how we step into our A game, how we raise the level of how we show up in our careers to get the raise, get the promotion, change jobs, start a business, whatever it is that we're doing. And that same energy is what we bring into our personal lives as well. It carries over because, as you've heard me say before, and I will continue saying, how we show up anywhere is how we show up everywhere. My first coach, my second coach, if I'm honest, taught me that. And it's a really important lesson to remember that who we are at our core, when we're tapped into our energy and we're in alignment with ourselves, it's who we are everywhere. The situation, the people, the environment changes, but we at our core do not. So when we're playing our A game, we are in complete alignment with that core. We are in alignment with our values. We are in alignment with our boundaries. We are feeling strong and empowered. We are taking action. We're moving forward in action, and in doing that, we find ourselves to be more open-minded, more flexible, more creative, more on the spot with intuition and inspiration to be able to pivot if we need to, but even more so just add and expand. When we're playing our A game, there's a sense of expansiveness and inclusiveness that goes along with it. And at some point, we've all been there. We know what that feels like. And we tend to think that it's momentary. We had a lucky moment. We got lucky with a team. It was just the right time on that project. And so we look at it more as luck than as a state of being. And so what I want to talk to you tonight is about the 3 cards, right? The 3 tools you can use to ensure that being on your A game is how you show up more often than not. Because that's where we feel exhilarated and connected and fun. It's where we're allowed to have fun. So, what takes us out of the A game? You know you've been there. You've been in those moments of just high confidence, high power, high energy, connectedness with everyone and everything. And we're in those moments where suddenly none of that exists, right? Where we are feeling completely disconnected, completely disempowered. We're not making decisions. We don't want to make decisions. We're far more comfortable crawling under a rock and just saying the world can just go to hell, forget it. When we are in this state of disengagement, we aren't showing up. We really aren't. We might be putting in the bare minimum to get by. We might be fighting to push through, to feel like we're being productive. But we know somewhere in ourselves that this isn't it. This isn't the A game. This isn't the best I can do. This isn't the best I can be. And oftentimes, this isn't who I want to be. Is this all making sense, guys? So drop a Y in the chat if you're with me live and let me know if this makes sense. So Christine dropped a comment. My company has gone from family-owned to corporate. I'm knocked down to my Z game. Christine! It's not a Z game, but you're right. You're absolutely right about one thing. You when things do go sideways, we do feel like we get knocked down a peg or two, right? We get knocked out of place, especially if we've been in a zone and then the things around us change unexpectedly, or even if it's expected but we don't know how it's going to change. It knocks us off our stride. So part of playing your A game is the resilience to tap into what's going to get me back into my stride, what's going to get me back into the place of being able to play my A game. Because the majority of playing your A game, it's here. It's really not the boss. It's not your coworkers. It's not the company. They will certainly play a role, and they will certainly help you make decisions about how you behave, what you choose to do, where you choose to step up and when, whether you stay or go, right? All of those decisions that come up when there's massive change. Being on your A game means you're making the decisions from the place of your empowerment and your alignment with yourself, as opposed to reactionary to, there's all this change going on and it's chaotic and I hate it, so now I just want to pack my toys and go home, which is the completely normal, natural response. So let's talk about, Christine brought up one, right? What are the ways that we lose touch with our A game? So one of them, as Christine brought up, is just your company changes, things shift, you start to hate your job. You hate your job. Sometimes we hate our job because there are changes that have knocked us off our stride. Sometimes we hate our job because there are bosses or peers who we don't like, we don't work well with. It's oil and water, or they're bullies. You guys have heard me talk about workplace bullies. Sometimes we hate our jobs because it's really not a good fit for our skills and for what we want to do and where we want to go. It's a job that we are treading water in. It's a job that we're doing because we've settled. It's a good paycheck. It's not so bad. I don't really want to be doing this, but I don't know what else I could do. As I'm going through these ways that we get knocked off our A game, and Rose, I'm glad you said yes. Drop a Y in the chat if any of these excuses sound familiar to you and have knocked you off your stride before, have knocked you out of your A game. So one is just not liking the place where you work. Another way we get knocked down is that we've let go of work-life balance. We have let work often, or anything. Sometimes it's not work, sometimes it's something personal, but we've let it take over our lives. We've gotten to a place where those priorities and those needs outweigh everything else that we have, everything else that we have going on. Sorry, I'm trying to watch the comments screen too. And when we do that, we lose balance, because now taking care of our career and taking care of our personal lives and taking care of ourselves has all gotten out of whack. And we can't play our A game if we're not taking care of ourselves, if we're not maintaining our boundaries, if we're not in alignment with ourselves, and instead we're reacting to something that's going on. There will be moments in time where this happens. There's always moments in time where life takes over because something big happens. Someone gets sick and there's a crisis, there's an accident, there's a layoff, right? Big things do happen that knock us off. But how long are they going to knock you off for, right? How long are you going to let it keep you off your A game? Because sometimes we get knocked off and we stay there for a really long time. And that's when we get mired in this negative cycle of, well, we settle for things, we think it can't get better, we wonder what's wrong with the world and why it's out to get us. Another thing that knocks us off our A game, we get afraid. We get afraid that if we make the comment, raise our hand for the project, ask for the raise, go after that promotion, we're afraid the answer will be no. And that's not what we want to hear, because we feel like hearing no will be more hurtful, more destructive to our ego and to our confidence than not applying at all. And I'm going to say that again because I want you to hear what that means, because we all do this at some point. We are afraid that going after what we want is a bigger hurt than not going after it. We make a decision that we're going to live with the unhappiness rather than take the chance that we're going to get the happiness. That keeps us off our A game. That keeps us playing small and safe because we're afraid. We're afraid of failure. We're afraid of judgment. That's another big one. Fear of judgment. Fear that when you do step up, when you are stepping out and showing your power and showing your strength and in alignment with who you are, when you're showing your nerd side, every now and then, guys, I sneak in like Star Trek references and Star Wars. Christine knows I was married to a nerd for a very long time. What most people didn't know is I was the secret nerd first when it came to introducing him to Star Trek. And I have lots of other nerd stuff in my background that we hide, right? We think they're going to judge us. They're going to think we're stupid or geeky or not cool. At work, we think they're going to think we're not smart enough, we're not prepared. Or worse, we do show up, they're going to think we're egotistical or arrogant. We're afraid of the judgment that comes along with truly playing out loud the way that we want to play. Another thing that knocks us off our A game is the voice in your head that tells you that there's more. There's more you need to do. That there's more to this problem, this challenge, and that you're not prepared for. If only you had that extra certification or that other degree, if only you had more experience, if only you were smarter, if only you were faster, if only you had these other qualities, maybe you could keep up. But since you don't, this voice tells us, you should play it safe and play it small. Rose says she got promoted today. Rose, congratulations. Yay for the promotion. We have things to celebrate tonight in the Dirty Girl community. That's fantastic. And the fear was palpable, which means it's an awesome promotion. When we can feel the fear, we are pushing our boundaries. We're pushing our boundaries. That's all that is. Fear, our biggest fear is of what we don't know, what we can't touch, what's not tangible. That is super, Rose. I am excited for you. That's fantastic. I'm glad you were afraid. Which sounds like a terrible thing to say to somebody. I'm glad you were afraid. I'm glad you were scared. But I am, because that means you're stepping into something that's going to push you, that's going to force you to stretch and step up and lead in a different way, right? So yay, celebrate tonight. That's fantastic. Here's what all these things do. When we lose touch with, or I should say, when we experience these things, when we experience a disconnection at work, when we experience disconnection with our coworkers and our peers, when we feel unhappy with our job or with our coworkers, or when we feel the fear of being judged, the fear of not being ready, the fear of taking a chance, all of that stuff, all of those draw a line to really one point, which is that we lose touch with our passion. We lose touch with why we're doing what we're doing in the first place, the driver that gets you up every day to do the thing that you do. And the funny thing is that the driver, it's not necessarily your job. It's not necessarily what you do every day for a paycheck. But your passion is part of your alignment with your own integrity, right? With the who you are. So typically there's some element of your passion, there's some element of your core in the work that you do choose to do. There's a reason why behind your job. When we lose touch with our reason why, when we lose touch with our passion, we lose touch with all of it. We don't have an A game. If we are not fully believing in what we're doing and the why behind it, we're not engaged. There is no A game. And all of those things are the symptoms, right? The fear, the disengagement, the unhappiness, the lack of making decisions, the swirling in your head about what you could do or should do but are afraid to do, the stories we tell ourselves. Those are all the symptoms of, wait a minute, why am I here in the first place? What's the thing that keeps me moving every day? What's the thing I really want to accomplish? So we're going to get to the 3-card draw. The Dirty Girl 3-card draw. I don't gamble. I have a very, very hard time letting go of my money. I feel like I would save more money if I just burned ones one at a time rather than going to a casino. So I don't gamble, but I do understand there's a strategy right behind the deck and behind a lot of card games, and that part's interesting. Because when you have a 52 card deck and you're playing a card game, what I'm saying is when you're the house, and you are the house, you own, you're the CEO of yourself and your life, right? So when you are the house, you pick the cards. So I want to talk to you about the 3 cards you are drawing to get yourself back on your A game. All right, are we ready? So the first card, card 1, is, ta-da, what is your why? Thank you to, let me see if I can find it here, because it's usually right here on my desk. Thank you to Simon Sinek for Start With Why. I have it marked up. I have little stickies in it because it is that good. Start with your why. When you're feeling disconnected, when you're feeling like you're lacking the drive, you're lacking the passion, you're lacking just connected, the get up and go, any of that, start with your why. Not why are you feeling this way. We can figure out a zillion reasons why you might be unhappy at work or why you might be unhappy at home. You probably know that list. Start with your why. So what I want you to do is ask yourself, what's the impact you want to have on the world? What's the impact you want to have on your, and by the world, what's the impact you want to have on your family, on your partner, on your children? What's the impact you want to have at work? What's the impact you want to have on the world? Because that's your world. On the world, the broader scale. Why not think big and on a grand global stage? But the question you want to answer is, what do I want to leave behind? What is my legacy? What's the impact here? And then why is this impact important to you? Now, you guys have heard me share before, right? The whole mission behind Dirty Girls is that I want to help empower women to live the lives they want to live. The impact I want to have is on as many women as possible. And my future mission, right? Mission 1 is as many women as possible who are trying to do better with what they've got, right? Most of us are at a place in our careers where we're good at our jobs. We're in a reasonable place and we're good at our jobs, but we know we can do more. We know we have more to give. We're just not sure what the tools are or what the steps are for us to take that bigger leap. And sometimes we're nervous about it because we are afraid. We don't know what that leap looks like. We don't know if we're thinking pie in the sky and that's too big for me. Those are the thoughts I want to knock out of your head. There isn't anything that's too big for you to accomplish. There isn't anything that's pie in the sky. It's all about accomplishing the goals and understanding why you want to accomplish the goals. Because my bigger vision is working not only with the women I work with today, but eventually I want to get to the girls. And I want younger women, right as they're hitting puberty and teens, I want them to understand that as complicated as our relationships are with our body, and our relationship with our body is a big part of what complicates our relationship at work and with our career and with our brains, We are the total package, which means even at age 12, you can have everything. And I want you to keep believing it when you're 20 and 30 and 50 and 80. That's my mission. So why is that important to me? Well, one of the reasons it's important to me is because I discovered it way later in life than I would have liked, now looking in hindsight, that yeah, I have a vision and I can make that happen. And there's no reason why I can't. I have this mission because I have a daughter. I have a daughter who I think is killing it right now in her choices, and I want to continue to see her do well. I have a daughter that one day might have daughters. I have sons. I have 2 sons, and I want them to continue to see and believe that women are just as capable, if not more so, of creating a vision and living that vision, and that their job as male partners to these women is to be part of that universe building, because they too can create anything they want, right? So what's your why? What drives you to want to have this impact, to want to have a legacy? And there isn't one that is too big or too small as long as it's in alignment with what you want. So of the 3 steps I'm going to give you, this one's probably the one that would take you the longest, because this is the one my clients struggle with the most. We spend a lot of time on getting clear on why. What are your values? What's important to you? Why do you want this? This is the number 1 key to understanding who we are and what drives us, and it's the first card in the 3-card draw deck. Okay, so know your why. The other question I want you to ask yourself, other than, because I gave you what impact do you want to have on your family, what impact do you want to have on your job, what impact do you want to have on the world, why is this important to you, right? Those were the first 4 questions. And then the last piece is, how will you feel? How will you feel when you live this success? The feeling is what you want to capture. How we get there might change. Maybe I won't be coaching 12-year-olds, but maybe I'll have another way to drive impact on that age group. Maybe 5 years from now, I won't be coaching women anymore, but maybe I'll have another way, right, to do that. Get to how I want to feel. I want to feel like I have empowered as many women as I could, that I have served as broadly as I could to make a fundamental change for how women not only are perceived, but how we perceive ourselves in the world. Jordana. No, Jordana, you are an awesome role model. You are living exactly what we talk about right here at Dirty Girls. You are living the whole, I have to chase my dreams. I have to go after what I'm going after and build the life I love, because I want my daughters to do the same. Totally get that. I appreciate that comment, though. Card 2. So card 1 is your why. Card 2 is your who. So whether we like it or not, we women have been often conditioned to serve. We have been conditioned to be responsive to other people from when we are little girls and told to be polite and wear pretty dresses and look nice and behave, to when we're in school and told to make good grades and study hard. And we've learned that by doing these things, right, by pleasing other people, what happens? By pleasing other people, we get rewarded. We are conditioned to serve. Some of us are naturally wired that way. Most of us are, because we also have a nurturing gene, especially those of you who are mothers. But even if you're not a mother, you have family, you've been a caregiver, you have friends. We have a nurturing core in us. Card 2 of your A game is, who do you serve? Who, and I want you to be really specific when you answer this question, because you can ask yourself this question every single day, because the question is, who needs my A game today? Who today needs me to show up and be the best that I can be, because I can impact them? Who is that? So I want you to ask yourself, who needs you right now? What is the impact on them when you show up with your A game? How are you helping them? And then I want you to think about, how am I helping me? There's a benefit to somebody else when you're bringing your A game to them. There's also a benefit to you. Hopefully, the benefit to you ties into the way you want to feel, right, when you're successful at playing your A game that you answered in the question before. So see if there's some alignment there. Why this person? Why is this person the beneficiary of your A game? Why are we choosing the targets we choose? And again, we're just going a level deeper and a level deeper to get you more clarity. Card 3. So card 1 is your why, card 2 is your who, card 3 is a how. How are you being supported? Card 3 is your tribe, up-leveling your tribe. Who's around you that's supporting you? We often don't pay enough attention to the fact that we don't get to success by ourselves. Certainly we work hard, we have drive, we are absolutely responsible and accountable for the choices we make that help drive our success. But success, no matter what our BHAG is, our big, hairy, audacious goal, right? Whatever that is that we're going after, we don't get there alone. The world is a community, right? So whether it's at work and it's coworkers and bosses and executives who are supporting your path, whether you're a solo business owner and it's you, so you're driving your business, but guess what? You're going to have business connections and a network and partners and a family that's going to help support you as you reach your goal. It doesn't matter what that end goal is. We don't do it alone. So I want you to look really carefully. Card number 3 is your tribe. It's the how are you going to get there? You're going to get there through your support network. Who's in it? Sometimes our support network is a big mix of cheerleaders, and we absolutely have to have cheerleaders in our network, right? In our tribe. And this is your mom, your dad, your siblings, your family members, your friends, your BFF from high school and from grade school and from college, all those people. And that's great. The majority of them are what we call cheerleaders. Their job is to say, you rock. And you do. But your tribe needs to have other more strategic members in it. Okay, strategic members that help you get where you want to go. And again, this is part of playing your A game, is knowing you have a network and you're going to leverage it. So the other roles you need to look for in your tribe, right, in your support group, includes influencers. Who are the people you know that you're connected with who can help influence the path that you want to go on? These don't have to be close friends. These can be former coworkers, current coworkers. These can be people you met through somebody else at somebody's backyard barbecue, right? Our network and what we turn into our broader support network, our tribe, are the people that we start connecting with and doing things together with, right? Making stuff happen. So who are your influencers? Who can influence the path that you're going on? Whether they're influencing you directly or they have influence over where you want to go. Okay, that's one kind of tribe member that you need to look for and have a few of those in your group. The other is allies. Now, the funny thing about allies is sometimes allies are people we don't even particularly like. Maybe we worked with them at a job a couple years ago and it's not like we disliked each other, but we just didn't have a lot in common. But you can find allies in your network because they're aligned with your goal. They can help you get there. They may have other connections that run in parallel with yours that expand your network or expand your market reach or whatever it is you're trying to do, right? Help you land another job because they're at that company. They don't have to love you. They just have to know that she does great work. We would be lucky to have her. I don't want to have a drink with her, but I'm more than happy to work with her on a project. We all know people like that. You need allies, people who are going to, in some way, have your back as you're going after your goal. So cheerleaders, influencers, allies, and yes, mentors and coaches. Somebody who is more objective about what you're going after and how you're getting there. For mentors, you definitely want somebody who's been on the path before. The role of a mentor is really to help you see, here are the glass obstacles that we've got to step over and let's navigate those and let's do it together. Right? That's the role of your coach also, is to help you navigate the gremlin in your head, right? That voice that tells you you're not good enough, not going to happen. How many, here's the question I want you to ask yourself, as you look at your network, as you look at your tribe, how many people in your tribe are what you would call high performers? You guys are here in this group because you're high performers. There's a reason that it's accelerating leadership for professional women. There is a reason I refer to you all as ambitious women, because you are. And you're here. You're here because you're up-leveling. You're up-leveling your skills, your confidence, your life, and your tribe. How many women are in your tribe who you would consider high performers? versus the women who have been supporters all along, but really aren't on the same path or the same journey with you. You want to look for other high performers who fit the roles of allies and cheerleaders and influencers and coach and mentor as part of your group. Who should be in your tribe? I'm willing to bet you know exactly who some of these women are that you would love to be closer to, that you'd love to work with a little bit more, and there may be a reason you haven't reached out. It could be, I don't know them that well, they think it's weird, I don't think they even liked me. We make it up. All kinds of reasons why we don't reach out and leverage our network. So I want you to start thinking about what your game plan is going to be. You have the 3 cards. 1 is your why. Get to know your why. Card 1. Card 2. Who needs you? Who needs you? And card 3 is who's going to help me get there. With these 3 cards, if you think about that every single day, ask the question, what's my passion? What am I going to do today that aligns to my passion? Who needs me on my A game today? And who's going to help me get there? You answer those 3 questions every day, you're going to make progress towards your goal, and you're going to be living in alignment with who you are at your core. You're going to make decisions differently. You're going to make choices differently because that's what you're focused on, your A game. Okay, so your next step, now that you have your 3 cards, is to answer the questions and figure out what's my game plan. What am I going to do next to ensure that consistently I'm living out my A game? You can do that alone, and you can do that with me or some other coach. But I highly recommend you find somebody in your tribe. You put somebody in your tribe if they're not there to help you make the game plan and help you be accountable for it. Because it is with the support, it is with the structure and encouragement that we actually make changes in how we show up, in how we think about ourselves, as well as how we think about our careers, our personal lives, and our self-care, kind of the 3 core components of how we build our lives. So with a coach, ta-da, we can help make sure that you have a plan and move you forward faster towards your goal. So that is our training for tonight. I have 2 notes for you before we sign off. One is, if you are interested in having some accountability around your 3-card draw and how you're going to make that plan, I highly encourage you, talk to me. Dirty Girl Mini Dig. Drop the word dig in the chat. I will reach out to you. We will schedule time to talk about your 3-card draw, what that looks like, and what your game plan could be. It is a sales-free call. I'm not selling you anything. It's 15 minutes. It's short. It's focused. It's really about getting you to a next step action. You know what your 3 cards are. What are you going to do now to make it actionable, to do something with it? So when you drop the word dig in the chat, I'll reach out and we will schedule time to have that conversation. After that conversation, if you want to have another conversation about working together, we will do that, but that's a separate call. This is literally a free gift to you just to see how we can get you closer to your goal. Thank you, Jill. And it's great to see you again. Last note. So 1 is dig in the chat to have the conversation. 2 is I am going on vacation. Talk about work-life balance. I'm going on vacation next week, which means next week we will not have Training Tuesday. And I don't think I have any appointments scheduled next week, but if I do, I think I have 1. I'm reaching out and making sure that we reschedule those. So I am truly trying to take next week off. I may try checking in just over a video in the group next week, so there may be an unofficial Training Tuesday going on next Tuesday or sometime next week. Where I'm going, I'm not real confident on the internet access, and that's why I didn't want to set anything up and then have a risk that I'd have to cancel anyway. So no Training Tuesday next week, no coaching next week, but stay alive in the group. I'm still going to be sending you notes and messages and keeping you apprised because I've got another masterclass coming up in August. Christine, the book, Simon Sinek, Start With Why. It is a great book. It's a fast read. He has some great exercises in here on mission statements, guiding principles, and things to help us actionize, to help us move into action around who we are and what we're all about. So I hope you all are planning a vacation too, where you are unplugging and taking time off and finding time to just be in your head and clear your head and enjoy that space, because we women don't do it often enough. We are juggling far too many things sometimes for us to think that it's reasonable to do it, but it is. So, yes, I love Simon Sinek too, Jill. I follow a lot of his stuff. He writes, he's a really good thinker, this person. All right, guys, it was great, as always, to see you on Training Tuesday. Thank you for joining me. Don't forget, your Dirty Girl 3 card draw is your why, your who, and your how is your tribe. And drop the word dig in the chat, and we will create a tribe for you. All right, ladies, have a fabulous Tuesday night and rest of your week, and we will be chatting in the group.